can we offer discipleship to lost or wandering souls? That's the topic that we're addressing today on Flourish-Meant. I'm your host, Tina Yeager. I had the tremendous privilege of interviewing Aspen Kennedy at the very busy National Religious Broadcasters Convention in Nashville. You may hear some background noise because, as I said, it was a very busy convention. Aspen Kennedy is the lead role in the upcoming Kendrick Brothers film, The Forge, and he offers some insights that are so profound it might even surprise you. I can't wait for you to hear our amazing interview and listen to what he has to say on this very important topic.
Hi, Aspen. I am so happy to have you on Flourish-Meant today. I want to talk about some practical takeaways that people can expect to receive from this movie. So what would you say is the message that they're going to really resonate with and that can make a difference in their lives?
Yeah, my hope is when people see this, that they take away the fact that, whether if they're coming to the faith for the first time or if they just need to go deeper, just simply put your trust in Jesus, because you don't have to have it all together. You don't have to know, what's next versus daily dependence of walking with him. Because it's one thing to believe. You can believe from a distance. I can believe that light is on outside that door versus following me to go see if it is. So following him is literally, okay, Lord, I don't know. Even in the moments where I pray for all right, God, give me grace for the moments that I didn't quickly invite you into my decisions. He's like, okay, I see you're serious about this, so your ear is inclined to me leading you. So just truly knowing if you place your faith in Jesus Christ, he will literally show you the way, because he is the way.
So not only does your character tell a story, you as a person are telling a story and sharing a testimony every time you speak. Not every actor is going to do that. So you're almost in a ministry in your workplace. Have you ever seen your workplace as a ministry and talk to people about how they can be in ministry in whatever workplace they are?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I'm so glad you said that, because God has been showing me that over and over. That's the thing where I feel like we believe from the very beginning, ministry looks a certain way, versus as the body of Christ, we have, he gives us the example in the Bible, you have a hand, you have a foot, you have an eye, but each person works together under one accord. So it's just how can we encourage each other to, discipleship or mentorship, to know that it truly comes down again to reverence and obedience, to say, all right, Lord, when it comes to my job, when it comes to my relationships, when it comes to my desires, can I think of you? Can I remember all that you did and reverence you to, just lead me in that right direction? And that's the thing where I feel like once he sees that we're serious and, okay, Lord, I want to obey you, because it's ultimately what's best for me. And it becomes not an addiction, but this is love. The more that I devote myself to you and welcome you in, he's like, hey, draw near to me, I'll draw near to you, and let's do this thing. And I feel like he protects you. He's a shepherd to protect you from dangers unseen. And he's just like Psalms 91, the shelter of the Most High is the best place anybody could ever want to be, And I feel like once people understand that in ministry or come into the knowledge of how the Lord wants to use them in their fields respectively, it is a love walk. So it's a beautiful thing.
So you're sharing through stories in film, but also the story of your life as you move forward in life. So what is some message that you hope that your life would share, that you want to make sure people hear from the movie and from other things that you might be thinking of doing in your life?
The desires of our hearts, I truly feel like he gives us. And it's the thing, when we submit them to him and pray for his will to work through our lives, he confirms that, because I can't take any credit for saying, hey, I was a part of the film that reflected my life. Versus, no, the Lord is the author and the finisher and the perfecter of my faith. Therefore, maybe my father not being in my life was God's plan to say, hey, I want to be your father, because I have a plan to reach other people through your life. Because my life has reflected the very thing that's in the film, as far as my father not being there, and the Lord put on my heart years ago to reach out and forgive my father. So that was a thing where, I had a conversation. I was like, all right, Lord, I was at the gym at the time. I was like, you want me to reach out to my dad and forgive him? I'm like, I don't mind doing that, but it's kind of awkward because I'm not angry at him. But it was a thing of obedience to say, hey, if I put that in your heart, even if it doesn't make sense, will you do it? Fast forward from 2019 to 2023, God has opened the door for me to work in a film to do that same thing for the masses to see. So like that private obedience is now public confession of, this is all about his story, So I feel like God willing, he will get the glory out of it. And that's what he's in the business of glorifying, receiving the glory. So it's truly been a testament to my life, and my career is kind of intertwined. So
that is powerful.
yeah, that's
that
who he is.
Powerful.
That's who he is.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So what drew you to this film, and were there times when you were uncertain or you had to struggle with it?
So when I first got the breakdown for this film, what drew me to it is I read the breakdown, I read the storyline. I was like, again, it felt so familiar to my heart. I was like, man, like I really am invested in empathizing with this as well as immersing myself in expressing this. And, just the opportunity to work with the Kendrick Brothers, I've been a fan of their work for so long. And again, just to be a part of something that's bigger than myself and beyond myself, I was like, all right, Lord, like I prayed about these things and you're opening the right doors at this time in my life. Again, it's his orchestration, so I just feel like, again, he's in control of everything, and I just want to be a part of that journey.
That's so good.
Yeah.
What would you say to that person out there that might be kind of struggling with, how do I reach out to those in my community or my family that might need that kind of mentorship in their lives? It's awkward. It's awkward. How do I reach out to that person who's a little lost without sounding like I'm being a little overbearing in that process?
Yeah, it can be. Absolutely, it can feel like it's a little far stretched, but again, it goes back to that reverence and obedience of, all right, Lord, if you give me something, which he will, like, will I obey when you say it versus question, like, all right, is this really you? Because he will show you, confirm it again. But it's the thing where God is so grand to the point where I believe if he places that on your heart to reach out to someone or to forgive someone, 9 times out of 10, the other person, he's doing the work in them as well, because he's all about unity. So it's just like seeing that play out is like a beautiful ensemble of like, man, God is literally, he's so serious about love. He's so serious about unity. He's so serious about, lending his grace out, not for people to take it in vain or for granted, but to say, hey, this is what I'm about. And when my creation is about what I'm about, that's family, that's unity, that's, one accord, as they talk about in Acts. So it's just like, man, like to be able to just be a part of the moving parts of how God wants things to be is truly a gift.
If you had one message that you would hope that your life would share with the world, what would that be?
Jesus Christ is Lord, and God is sovereign. He is the Lord, and He's ready to change hearts and impact lives.
Fantastic. So talk about, maybe was there any time that you thought was particularly special or challenging or unusual in your experience in filming The Forge?
Yeah, so one challenge I felt like going into it was it crept in as doubt a little bit, as far as like, man, like Lord, I prayed for opportunities like this, but can I really pull this off? But it goes back to that reminder of, if I'm with you, this is not about you. But you have to continually depend upon me to help you, to guide you as your shepherd. So that was one challenge, in overcoming that and actually walking in it with humility, of course, to know like, hey, Lord, this is something that is a fruit, so to speak. Like, I enjoy doing what I do, but I'm graced to do it. Just as you gave it to me, you can take it away, so I have to always remember that. But that was one challenge. And one experience is the fact that working with the Kendrick Brothers, they started every single day with devotion. It's just like 30 minutes right after breakfast, before we start the day, before we talk about a rehearsal or set up shop. Like, the work was second, the Lord was first. And you looking back over their films, you see the success in worldly terms of like, oh, they do so amazing, but behind closed doors, and they really walk it out. So it's just like, man, like partnering with the Lord again, he allows you to bear fruit. Like he says, abide in me, I abide in you. Like, if you're apart from me, you can't bear fruit. But that was an experience I'll never forget, of setting the tone of inviting the Lord into what you do. Not just creating something for him, but to say, hey, Lord, if your hand isn't on this, we don't know what it's going to do. It can't, do anything. So that was an experience that I'll never forget, and I want to take with my heart for the rest of my life.
And you can take that with you wherever you go, into any job that you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, that's very cool.
Yeah.
So tell people how they can find you and stay connected with you and get into watching The Forge.
Yes, absolutely. So on Instagram, I'm at Aspen Kennedy. I'm based in Atlanta, Georgia. I work in LA as well, but I'm around.
All right, fantastic.
Yes.
And The Forge comes out
in theaters August 23rd. Well, it's August 2024 for sure. I believe it's the 23rd, August 23rd.
So in August this year, you'll get to see The Forge in a theater near you.
Yes.
So
Yes.
fantastic. Well, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on Flourishment today.
Thank you so
I
much.
really appreciate your heart, your testimony, and the work that you're doing
Thank you so
in
much.
this film.